All right, so here we have the second appearance of Doctor Doom, but what makes this issue a real treat is that it establishes Doom's kind of on again, off again status as friends with the mutant lord of the sea, Namor the Submariner. These two have a great relationship, so this kind of makes issue 6 of the Fantastic Four count as a pivotal one. All right, like the cover of issue 5, issue six's cover establishes all the key elements of the story. We see the four framed in opposition to both the anti hero Namor as well as Doctor Doom himself. Sue is kind of in the distance trying to stop the combat, while Doom seems to be commanding Namor to engage in combat. The whole affair seems to be suspended up in the air, so this is kind of a preview of the plot that is coming. Now, as mentioned in the first part of this video, this is kind of an episode 1 series, although the plots of issue 5 and 6 of these comics do not actually tie together. I'm kind of using them both to establish a lot of the core elements of Doctor Doom across his first appearances. If you've not gotten a chance to check out the first part of this series, go ahead and check it out. One thing you do need to know is the publication date of this issue is September 1st, 1962. These issues, as mentioned in the first part of this 2-part episode 1 sequence, are found in a text that I will be referencing a few times, Doctor Doom, the Book of Doom, an omnibus that was released in August of 2022. It's a 1,000-page document that collects a tremendous number of Doctor Doom stories, including his appearances in the Astonishing Tales series from the 1970s. Now, the comic, the actual story in issue 6, it starts with Sue Storm returning to the Baxter building, where the comic sets up that she and her family are kind of becoming these big celebrities. We also get a very fun cross-section of the Baxter building while Sue heads up beyond this, the 33rd floor. You get to see all these cool things that are actually in the building itself. Now, while the family addresses their status kind of as popular heroes, they're kind of talking around the table about stuff. You're going to see Reed visiting a sick child and Johnny and Ben discussing fan mail. We get this small moment from Susan where she compares Doctor Doom to Namor, the Submariner, this previous foe that they fought before. She says how she would pick Doctor Doom for outright villainy. The Submariner is hostile, but that's only because he's hurt and bitter. To this, Johnny actually counters, what's the difference if there's an ill wind blowing anywhere? One of those two's probably started it. And then what we're going to see is, indeed, Doom actually coming into contact with Namor. Doom is actually going to be very polite with Namor, and while we've not yet to see a particular thing about Doom's history, a particular piece of Doom lore that will be important with he and Namor later, we can still at least establish this one. Doom lore piece number 13. Namor and Doom are fast friends. What you're going to see is that Doom plays on Namor's concern for his people, primarily because at this point in the comic's history, Atlantis was destroyed and its citizens, Namor's subjects, have become scattered. Now, Doom specifically stokes Namor's ire at humanity and tells him to channel that anger at the defenders of the human race, this being the Fantastic Four. Now, this issue actually predates the assembling of the Avengers by about a year, so Doom's strategy actually kind of makes sense. So what Doom is going to kind of explain is that his plan involves a device which he calls a grabber, a piece of technology which can allow him to move objects of impossible size with ease. So the way that Doom plans to use this is by anchoring Namor's belts so he can kind of smuggle in one end of this technology. So once it's inside the Baxter building, it's going to let Doom control like the whole building with the little rod that he has on his end. So to kind of get the plan underway, Namor is going to go parlay with Sue Storm, the one member of the team obviously most sympathetic to him, which causes some drama. Now, in the ensuing chaos, Doom's trap is kind of going to get sprung. Namor's entry into the building has allowed him to kind of smuggle in this one end of this magnetic piece that Doom has the opposing end to. So while Doom is in his rocket in space, because of course he has a rocket that allows him to go into space, it's going to also allow for Doom to make a small pun about the sun and what he's going to do to the Fantastic Four, which I greatly appreciate. Anyway, so Namor finds himself also trapped in the Baxter building as it finds its way hurtling towards the sun. But obviously he doesn't want Susan to die. He's got a thing for her. So what he's going to do is he's going to jump between some space debris and then physically tear his way through Doctor Doom's rocket like Kleenex at a snot party until he actually reaches Doom himself. Doom is then going to gracefully be blown out into space after he attempts to kill Namor with an electrical discharge that again blows up in his face. If I had a nickel for every time something is blown up in Doom's face over 2 issues, I would have 3 nickels by now. Now, so far though, we can wrap this episode up. So what we've seen is we have the first appearance of the Grabber, and we have the first appearance of an alliance between Doctor Doom and Namor the Submariner. So that kind of wraps up this small episode, even though, like I said, issue 5 and 6 aren't formally part of a tied sequence. What you kind of have is Doom having this alliance with Namor actually is a really kind of big deal. It happens, it's going to be part of a much bigger pivotal series of events that kind of goes on in Doom's history. So at the conclusion of this series, you've now seen about, numerous things, numerous firsts in Doom's kind of chronology. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what he's capable of, what he's like, and kind of gives you a preview of, certain kinds of stories and things that are going to come up again and again and again. All right. But as for this episode, that's it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.